Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines. We got some great news for Stellar today, and Coinbase flips the script, and you're going to like it. Warren Davidson in the news. Perry Ann Bourne from the Digital Chamber of Commerce. You're going to want every single bit of it. Financial Services Committee and a new draft legislation for a stablecoin bill. BAKKT, the CEO saying XRP not coming on the platform at all. Oh, we got questions for him. Ripple confirming a new ODL corridor. You're going to want every single bit of it. And one technical analyst says an epic drop you may like for XRP price. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow us on Twitter and YouTube for exclusive content right now. It is $1.2 trillion market cap for crypto. The market is off by 0.6%. Bitcoin, 27,400 plus. Ethereum, 1826 and change. Tether market cap, 81.6 billion plus. XRP is 45 cents right now. We're off by 10.8% on the 7-day, 1.8 of that in the last 24 hours. Let's get started this morning with this right here. Link2 hits a milestone. They reached 100,000 members on the platform. We're deeply grateful for the ongoing support and participation in our global investment community, and we look forward to achieving even greater heights together. To sign up with Link2, visit link2.com or click the link underneath this video to my sponsor. The best place to get private equity, and I don't mind telling you, yes, you have to be an accredited investor, and no, it is not Link2's rule, it is regulators' rule, and they're doing everything they can to take down that wall. Find out what you need to do to become accredited, and find out how you can get some of these incredible products on this platform that are using this technology to build out this space. It is a remarkable opportunity. Stellar XLM Network launches first U.S. mutual fund on public blockchain. Uh-oh, that's good news. And here's Janelle Dixon talking about it. Franklin Templeton, we know, have been building on Stellar Network for years. On-chain U.S. government money fund is a game changer for investment management. With Stellar's asset tokenization capabilities, Stellar makes traditional finance more accessible to all. This is exciting because this, again, for me, is where the world is going, right? Tokenizing everything of value. That's the larger part of this digital asset revolution to me, not crypto. Crypto is going to be a very small swath of the digital asset revolution, I believe. The block, Coinbase says what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Oh yeah, Coinbase says we're suing the SEC. SEC wants to sue everybody? Well, now we're going to sue the SEC. And I'm glad to hear this only because I know that Coinbase has got the money to do it, just like Ripple has had the money to fight their defense. Now they're going on the offensive with Coinbase suing the SEC for an answer on rules specific to digital assets. Now, this comes after there was a submission of, I can't remember what it was, what the term was, but they submitted something and Coinbase, SEC blew it off, right? And once they blew that off, Coinbase said, you know what? We're going to go ahead and sue the SEC here to try to get some clarity for digital assets. This is a big, big move, and I'm glad they're doing it. This here is Warren Davidson, who has a structural problem with the SEC, and certainly Gary Goldman Gensler, I should say. I joined CoinDesk recently to talk about the proposal to restructure the SEC. And listen to what he says here. This is not unheard of, what he's talking about. Take a listen.
Congressman Warren Davidson, welcome.
Good morning.
Nice to see you again. Okay, well, let's get right into this. This is a very bold proposal. Now, Gary Gensler is not very popular within the cryptocurrency community, but you are making a much bolder statement. You were saying he has a record of failures. Can you just outline for us in sort of the most objective way, what are these failures that you are pointing to?
Yeah, I think Gensler's failures highlight this. There's a structural problem. There's a Gary Gensler problem, but there's also a structural problem with the Securities and Exchange Commission. And really, you go back years ago, they went to a strong chairman. The original structure was the commission. And so he's front running the entire market, whether it's Congress, the House, the Senate, Treasury, the CFTC, and it's all to try to gain jurisdiction. And instead of acknowledging that he needs to work with Congress to get clarity for digital assets, I've called it like similar to Hotel California, not the exact lyric, but you can check in with the SEC, but you can never leave.
And that really is true. And I tell you, here's Perianne Boring, who actually brings even more clarity to the understanding of the real problem here. She's going to point out just how involved this digital asset space is. This is not as simple as it's a crypto or it's not a crypto. Listen to what she says here, because it is, as John Deaton says, an outstanding job by Perianne Boring to convey the message.
Digital assets are a spectrum of assets. There are digital asset commodities, there's digital asset securities, there's digital asset currencies, there's payment systems, there's NFTs, there's digital collectibles. There are many different types of digital assets that there are many different regulatory agencies that have jurisdiction over this space. That clip you just played with Chairman Patrick McHenry grilling the SEC Chairman Gary Gensler really gets to the fundamental issue the industry has, which is the need for regulatory clarity. And that exchange was very emblematic of what the industry is dealing with.
Perianne, I did a panel down at Virginia Tech about 4.5 years ago, and with Hester Peirce, who is actually a member, one of the SEC commissioners. This was 4.5 years ago. We talked about the urgency of getting this done. It feels like the SEC is moving at about the speed of a 100-year-old tortoise with a broken ankle.
Yeah, Commissioner Peirce spoke at an event that we hosted about a year ago, and she said, unfortunately, the SEC has made very, very little progress. There has been no regulatory guidance issued by the Securities and Exchange Commission for the digital asset ecosystem, despite the fact that industry's been calling for it for over 6 years. Coming back to that question of Ethereum, which really kicked off the entire hearing, how can it be that the Securities and Exchange Commission is taking the position that digital tokens, including Ethereum, potentially are securities, but then you have the CFTC also saying these exact same assets are commodities? How is there clarity in when you have that, when the agencies themselves don't agree, and even the SEC, the commissioners of the SEC, Hester Peirce being one of them, don't agree? There is not regulatory clarity in this space, despite what the chairman testified on this morning.
Well, Perianne, you know that it may not be about clarity so much as it's about control, who ultimately is the regulator. Perianne Boring, U.S.
And there you have it, and it is true. And I tell you what, though, Ron Hammond says this week in Congress, and I'm not going to read this whole thing to you. As always, it is wonderful, and you should read the whole thread. But just to get us through this video here, I will give you the highlights of the thread here. This week in Congress and crypto, after a busy week of oversight in stable coins, this is important, the House is chugging right along with the third highest priority in crypto space market structure. 2 hearings this week in the House on the same day and the exact same topic. Here's what to expect very quickly here. Market structure is a vague term, but it is an important element of the crypto regulation. There are many questions and conflicting messages from the CFTC and the SEC, just as mentioned by Perianne Boring, about where the jurisdiction starts and stops in the crypto sector. In the wake of this confusion, Congress is stepping in. In a rare move, the House AG and the Financial Committee are having their own respective market structure hearings on Thursday. This move on having hearings on the same day isn't to compete with one another, but rather the opposite. It is a sign that they are tackling the issue together. This is where things get dicey, though. Committees fight hard for their jurisdiction, and like the regulators will oppose elements that weaken their committee's jurisdiction, it is one of the many reasons why an SRO, which is a self-regulating organization, isn't politically feasible at the the moment. Both the AG and the Financial Services Committee will need to work together if a market structure bill has a chance. It won't work if one goes ahead without the other. Both committees understand this, hence the same day hearings. Unlike stable coins, there isn't a bill draft or principles out. And there is a new draft for the stablecoin bill, and you need to know about it. Just 1 second here. One of the other pitfalls of having two committees involved is having too many cooks in the kitchen. So far, all signs point to collaboration. Typically in Congress is well known. When multiple committees are involved, things get slimmer in terms of moving legislation forward. He goes on here to talk about the SEC and the CFTC, the lack of clarity, and the SEC obviously being a problem in that. And then he says here, since market structure isn't as fleshed out as issues like stable coins, that is a promising statement for him to say it that way, I think. Expect more hearings and discussions on this topic over the next few months. Oversight, stablecoins, market structure will continue to be the top 3 crypto topics for this Congress, so stay tuned. And we are going to stay tuned because the House Financial Services Committee have released new draft legislation to regulate stablecoin issuers. And here is this right here, and it would take the SEC out of the equation. And we love hearing that, don't we? So just to really quickly here, it says, and this is I'm just going to give you the highlights of this, new payment stablecoin legislation would hand authority from the SEC to the federal and state bank and credit union regulators. The SEC's assertion over stablecoins may also be at odds with fellow Biden administration officials. This right here is where I'm hopeful, right? Because the current administration is the Biden administration. And the fact that there's people within that administration now at odds with a Democratic appointed official at the SEC, Goldman Gensler, I think this gives us the greatest chance to see something get done for stablecoin legislation on that front. Just to touch this and come down here, the whole article is really good, but just to touch this for a second here, it says, states could approve, aside from shifting oversight of stablecoins from the SEC to federal and state bank credit union regulators, the bill also subjects non-bank stablecoin issuers to regulatory examinations that every stablecoin be backed by legal tender or short-term treasury bonds and include a monthly reporting requirement with a certified public accounting firm, which is what we have not really gotten from USD Tether. So we'll see how that goes. States could approve stablecoin issuance using their own standards, but the bill sets a floor for state regulators for evaluating projects. It goes on to say the Federal Reserve can also halt projects even if approved by a state if the stablecoin doesn't meet those baseline criteria. It says here state regulations put in place by the New York Department of Financial Services provided a reference point for the new draft. Staff said during a press call on Monday, issuance of a stablecoin without regulatory approval could result in criminal as well as civil and penalties, and stablecoin issuers would be subject to anti-money laundering and know your customer requirements similar to bank, which is what USD Tether does not have currently. Stablecoin issuers waiting on full approval from regulators could be granted a preliminary green light to start issuing stablecoins up to a year while being evaluated. So who knows how that could apply to something like USD Tether. We'll keep an eye on it. Now, this right here is BAKKT CEO saying, after he's pressed about XRP, not at all. They're not going to list it at all. Listen to what he says here.
Can I ask about one digital currencies in particular, which is XRP, created by Ripple? Obviously, it's under some pressure right now from regulators. Coinbase has dropped it from its exchange. Does BAKKT currently support trading of...
It's not on our platform, no.
Because of the controversies or for some other reason?
It's just not on our platform.
But there must be a reason. It's the third largest market cap cryptocurrency in the world.
We entered the crypto space through Bitcoin, and that was the first currency we've made available. We have others that are scheduled to come on board as part of the product development, but XRP is not available.
Is XRP one of those that are scheduled to come on at some point? Is it on the roadmap?
No, it's not coming on at all.
Can I ask about one digital currency?
Not coming on at all, he says. XRP not coming on the platform at all, CEO Gavin Michael? Do you also mean not at all, even if XRP gets clarity after a legal ruling? I'm asking as a BAKKT shareholder for a few 100,000 of my friends. And thus far, we've got nothing. This doesn't make sense. BAKKT is doing payments as a part of their platform. XRP is a payments token currently. Bridge currency even, if you will. Right? Carbon neutral. Fractions of a penny. What's going on here? However, countries realize the benefits of XRP and on-demand liquidity that uses XRP for payments, even if BAKKT doesn't. Ripple confirms that XRP's on-demand liquidity payment solution is now available in India, along with the other markets it already has been. So here you see Mexico, India, Southeast Asia, complex corridors like Brazil. You know, this is exciting to me because Ripple continues to expand around the world. I tell you this. And how about this? Eggrad Crypto technical analyst says, what about an epic drop to $350 XRP at some point? One effective way to remove our bias is by using an inverted chart, basically flipping the chart upside down. The inverted chart makes it easy for our visuals to comprehend the fall since we are psychologically content with falling objects. Remember this, when $1.40 gate is open, then the bears will be smashed by the bulls because the gate cannot be closed by the bears. XRP will have its epic drop, but a drop that will make some millionaires and billionaires. Well, let me tell you something. If we hit that $1.40 mark and he's right, which is here, which could send XRP, and obviously this is an inverted chart that's upside down, right? But showing that if it could hit that bull market line, get above that 140, then we could see history repeat like we've done in the past, because that looks like a fractal repeat from back in 1718. And if we did, that could put us in the range of a $300 plus XRP sometime in the future. It's showing here 24, 25 range sometime in there. I could do that standing on my head. That's where we're going to leave it. It's not financial advice from me or anyone else, but that's an epic drop I'm excited about. I hope it happens. Not financial advice from me, him, or anyone else. It's just my digital perspectives. I'll catch all of you on the next one.